Hola muchachos, ¿qué tal? Buenas noches. Aquí tienen las instrucciones al discurso. Se llama Disrupted, How COVID Changed Education. So this is the video that we'll be watching later on this week in class. And your assignment for this discussion is to reflect upon some of the themes introduced in this video. Again, the video is called Disrupted. And it's a summary of all of the feelings and emotions that, many of us can share and feel like we have in common during the pandemic and distance learning. So, in the very beginning, there's a young lady named Tiffany who you'll meet. And Tiffany talks about how, she had to essentially go to school full-time and then also pick up a full-time job. Because both of her parents lost their job and she needed to provide for her family. Can you personally relate to that to a certain extent? Have you had to help your parents out? Maybe with chores around the house even? Doing more around the house because they're having to pick up more hours? Or maybe you have found a part-time job. Or you're helping them at work on the weekend, for example, after school. Talk about that experience. How has that been for you? In what way can you relate to Tiffany? Later on, we're going to meet a few folks that talk about how they're the oldest siblings. They're the oldest and they have younger siblings, and they're taking care of their younger siblings, right? They're doing school too from home. And they need help because they're at home with their younger siblings, Can you relate to that? Do you have younger siblings too? Are you kind of having to play the role of parent and student simultaneously, taking care of them, making them lunch, giving them snacks, all the basics? Can you relate to Casey's experience at all? There are folks that talk about mental health. And how mental health has affected them tremendously throughout this experience that we've all been through. How has your mental health been affected? Anxiety, depression, maybe lack of motivation. To what feelings can you relate to that these young folks share in this portion of the video? So we'll go all throughout the video and you just pinpoint any aspects to which you can relate and then just discuss them, share your feeling, reflect on your own experience. So these are prompts. You don't need to answer every one of these questions. Pick one or more of those above themes, and then just reflect on your own experience. After you make your post, which should be 5 to 7 sentences, respond to the posts of 3 classmates and offer empathy, encouragement, and or agreement. You have there in parentheses of what your responses might sound like. So just a way to kind of put a bow on this academic year to, kind of process and hopefully therapeutically write about what our respective and collective experience has been like, and how this has changed education and maybe perhaps for the better. That's one thing I didn't put in here, is they talk about some education reforms. What changes to our education system would you like to see happen as a result of the pandemic? So a lot of things to talk about. I look forward to your responses and your responses to one another in this discussion.